Well, welcome to another edition of the Winning Ways show, where we've got some very interesting stuff to chat about. Louis Goosen, we've been running a six-part interview with him during last week. If you've been watching Winning Ways show, if you haven't, just subscribe and you'll get all the notifications. And we'll be chatting to him in the final part of his six-part interview that we did last week. Just talking about Magic Millions that morning. How are you?
I'm good, no complaints, all well.
8 weeks till the Magic Millions. The catalogue's out.
Strongest one ever.
It's an unbelievable
catalogue, you know, and it looks like everyone who wants to go and get a good deal on their horse sends it down to that early sale, and it's just a great sale, as you and I well know.
Okay, well, we're looking forward to getting ourselves over there. We make sure that we find some clients and see what we can do. And we're going to kick off with, we've got a bit of sport to chat about. Firstly, Brazil won the Under-17 World Cup.
Yeah, I didn't watch the Under-17, you know. There's some very good players, obviously, the stars of the future, but I didn't watch any of it, you know. I watched a few of the Euro qualifiers.
Okay, what happened with the Euro? I see
England were way too strong. Portugal qualified. I think he got his 99th goal. Ronaldo, and the opposition was singing Messi, trying to annoy him, and he tucked one in, you know. So that football.
France qualified. The big
guns are going through. Yeah, I think the Irishman Davis is going to rue the day he took the penalty against the Netherlands. Netherlands are a great side, and they drew 0-0, and he missed a penalty. He stuck it so far over the bar. Poor.
Yeah, very poor they were. Anyway, they got a very good goalkeeper. What else we got? Let's talk about motorsport. You know, Hamilton crashed into someone, the one Red Bull driver, Alex Albon, and he got a 5-second penalty and ended up finishing 7th. But Verstappen drove a very good race. Yeah. Tyres seem to be the big thing. And I think it's the second last Grand Prix, but Hamilton's a champion.
Yeah.
The two Ferraris crashed into each other.
That's wonderful. I saw your motorbike, man. When's the motorbike season finish?
It's finished. Yesterday was the final. Valencia. Let's talk about firstly. There's Marc Marquez, on screen.
Yeah.
He's been having this duel with Fabio Quartararo, who's the Frenchman, the young flying French 20-year-old, and he just waited and attacked him when he was ready and. Passed him and went on to win. Marc Marquez. He scored more points in the Grand Prix MotoGP season than any other driver in the history of MotoGP. 420 points.
I see Binder won.
Well, that's the next thing. Our boy Brad Binder, he's won 3 in a row now. He got beaten by 3 points in the championship.
Marquez.
By Alex Marquez, the brother, Marc's younger brother. But they're both going to ride in MotoGP. This guy, Brad Binder, can ride. He is a fantastic rider. When he gets to the front, they don't get past him. He sat behind and waited his turn, and there he is on screen. Is
that what he looks like? He spelled different to the racers trainer. He spelled different. Clinton Binder is with an A.
Clinton's. He's got to be Lebanese.
Clinton.
Yeah.
No, very much doubted.
Binda.
Yeah.
No, not. Okay. So this is the Brad Binder is a motor racing family. He's got a brother as well. That's
a very good
GP3 rider, and he's a fabulous rider. He's much taller than most GP riders.
Yeah.
MotoGP riders, but he now goes to MotoGP GP1, and that should be fun. Nedbank. Golf.
Hey, that was exciting. You know, I watched wherever I could, but I obviously try and watch the finish. And sure, the guy who was runner-up is going to look back and think I could have won this. And Fleetwood is unbelievable amount of ground he made, especially on those eagles, James.
3 eagles on the par 5.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and that he after a second eagle on the par 5, he then went drop.
Yeah.
He gave him back.
Yeah.
But the wind was swirling, and Sun City is remarkably difficult when you get that swirling wind, especially out from the sort of southeast. It's very, very difficult. It's a tough golf course anyway. And you saw that. Very few people finished under par yesterday.
Yeah.
But for this guy, Fleetwood, 7 under was just absolutely amazing.
It's amazing how many top golfers got the name Wood in their name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tiger Woods. Gary Woodland.
He's got
Wood in his name.
He's got a lot of woods.
Yeah, he's got Wood. Fleetwood, Gary Woodland. There's another very good Wood.
Westwood.
Correct, Westwood, Tiger Woods. It was amazing how many top golfers.
Well, you've got to hit your woods good to be able to be a good golfer. And the woods are full of long hitters, you know that.
That's right. There's not many players called irons.
Yeah.
So that was the golf.
Jeremy Irons.
Jeremy Irons, right.
Actually, Jeremy Irons, just talking about Jeremy Irons, he's playing Sir Henry Cecil in the Frankel movie.
That's right.
In the Frankel movie.
Frankel movie, yeah.
And a fabulous actor to play
Fantastic
him.
actor,
And it will be a great movie. We're really looking forward to that.
Will you get that slow speech that Cecil had in the end? You know, slow talker.
Yeah.
Right man to play the job part, I believe.
I think you'll be absolutely brilliant in it. You know, I did audition, but they said I was too good looking.
No, I thought you
too
might
good
get
looking and too young.
I thought you might have got the Bond job.
Yeah, let's go and have a look at a couple of horses. We got a few that we think that you should have a close look at this week. Obviously, Hawam and Celtic Sea both won. Hawam was incredible.
Trotted up. Celtic Sea trotted up. I watched them both.
Yeah.
Very good horses coming back.
Yeah, so that was interesting. But let's go and pick up a couple of the younger ones we think you should be looking at. And we're going to go to Vaal on the 14th of November. Sean Terry stepped out another Pomodoro, first timer, and ran a cracking good race. Duel at Dawn. I don't know who named this horse.
Yeah, they spelled it wrong.
They can't spell it D-U-A-L at Dawn. It's got to be D-U. So who was it? Claverflay. They bred it, okay?
Yeah.
Let's see. Duel at Dawn.
Yeah, this runs in Chris Van Niekerk's colours for Sean Terry. And it's a sparkling debut here at the Vaal. And, the pace is on, you know, Aquam and City Dancer, they start showing speedy. And this horse isn't too far off the action. And the winner is a Dory Sham horse called Stone Judgment. Carl Zechner rides that. And that's sitting in the green and yellow, sitting a few lengths behind them.
Yeah, John Finlayson's horse.
That's right.
It's actually quite a long way back. And they're cutting out a good pace. And now this horse seems to lose his position, Duel at Dawn. He's behind the horse with the yellow cap, Fabian Ibnate. And he's just following him. And you'll see that the horse with the blinkers, with the green and yellow, John Finlayson's colours, come screaming through. And this horse can't go with him, but he runs on well at him at the death. So
that's right,
They might have gone quite quickly.
This is a 7 furlong. It's a debut run for the Pomodoro over 7 furlong. Stone Judgment's now making, in the green and yellow, making a good move. And he can't go them. He's been scrubbed along Duel at Dawn, probably 6th position, but just starting to respond slowly. And coming to front is Stone Judgment. And Duel at Dawn puts in a bold effort from here in.
Yeah, he runs on. He's still got a number of horses to pass, but he runs on best of all. Mike de Kock's horse, very disappointing. Aquan, that's I'm Invincible on the outside. This probably needs gelding. And this horse runs on really well to run second. I thought it was an extremely good run. We then go Saturday. We had the big day at Turfentine. And just before we go into that, Jockeys International Race Day. It's always a great.
Always good, you know, and they were determined to do well, and they won quite comfortably in the end. And to the fore, the lady rider,
Hayley Turner. She's great. I love her.
Fantastic timing on her wins.
Yeah,
and it was very good. So I thoroughly enjoyed it.
She won on the right horse at hand. Looked like the better of the meeting, and the way she rode it, she gave an absolutely beautiful ride. But it was great to see Andrea Tenzi and a whole lot of our old friends out here. It's always been a spectacle that we'd love to be able to follow them all around South Africa.
Right.
I think
we get to know the international stars as well.
Yeah. All right, but we start on that meeting, and we had the two first juvenile races in Gauteng. We're going to show you the first one because there are a number of reasons why we'll show you this. One, it was so green and it ran all over the track. Secondly, Paul Peter won both races, both juvenile races, which is a phenomenal effort on his behalf. And the owner of this horse, Colin Govinsamy, he's become a big player in this game.
Big player, Colin, yeah, lovely
very
guy.
Nice chap.
Very nice man. Colin
likes to have a bet.
I believe so. Yeah, okay. But you see his colours everywhere, and as you say, Paul Peter stepped out the VAR to win the first leg. This was a soft falling rain for Colin Govindasamy, and I think Kennedy did well to stay on.
Yeah, he certainly did. Let's go and pick up the start. This horse always had them beaten. Always had them beaten. And he's in the yellow colours there. It doesn't get away that well, but he's quickly into stride. And the horses around him, was there anything that you saw that...
Well, there was support for Paul Peter's horse, Paul Matchett's horse. And that from here on is completely under pressure. But I think the key to this race is watch Warren Kennedy. He's getting a little bit of pressure on his outside, and he gives the horse a slap in a moment's time. This horse ducks, look, it's starting to run out now.
Yeah.
And he thinks, now let me change my stick. Boom, hits it with the left hand. One more, look at that. Wow!
He just takes off right-handed, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And then he pulls his stick through.
Oh, comes all the way back.
It's really very green. I think that by the time he got to the finish, Warren was holding on for dear life. Anyway,
very good.
Won a damn good race. He's by Soft Falling Rain, bred by Wilgerbos Drift Maritzfontein. He's out of a Kildonan mare. That's where the speed comes from, and
very fast.
Soft Falling Rains are very interesting because I think they've got so much ability, but they all seem a bit quirky.
I've had three, and they're very quirky.
Very quirky. Yeah. Okay, the next one we're going to show you probably the one horse that you really should put in your black book. This filly won a barrier trial here at Scottsville. She looked impressive. She's by Orpin. She's beautifully bred.
Beautiful filly.
Beautiful filly. And she looked like an absolute blinder in this race. And those of you that didn't see the race, you'll say in the 4 mile she's not too good. Have a look at this. Katy Perry at the start. She misses it.
Pen 18.
18. She's still not out the pens.
Yeah. She's got to lose 10 to 12 lengths. By the time she gets into stride, the rest are gone and she's out of the picture.
Well, I reckon she's 20, 25 lengths behind at this stage. And you can see she's not even in the picture. And you'll see when the camera angle changes. That's how far back she is. She's right on the right-hand side of your screen. She gets to them. And she runs past a whole lot of them.
And she runs into a bit of tight spots and everything. It's an amazing run, and I feel the jockey realised at the end she'd had enough. Otherwise, she would have been even closer. Wild and Grey wins it. The Growers coming to the front now. That's for Mark de Kock and Callum Murray. But have a look at this filly. She's preening through them, and she's just had enough here. And she's only 3-4 lengths. She's made up 15 lengths or so. I wouldn't know the exact distances. But just here, she's green, she's tired, and he leaves her alone. But be with this one.
The last bit, yeah. And she just got to get herself, sometimes what happens is that they get a bit of a fright.
Yeah.
And she went back. Nice win for Charlie Savage with the grey.
Barland Grey.
He likes the greys, Charlie, yeah. So that was a pretty good win.
Yeah.
And then we go to Kenilworth, and we found one here that we think that you should be with when it goes over a bit of ground. Tennessee filly, Sing Out Loud. Anton Marcus went down to Kenilworth. Anton cruised into Durban yesterday, had one ride, one on it, proceeded to pick up another 2 rides, one on them both. Yeah. I mean, he's a plum picker of note.
Oh, he comes away with, I think, 3 rides, 3 winners, yeah.
Someone said to me, he's opened more computer forms than they've had, I don't know, it was whatever they had. It was quite interesting, and I think that's probably right. But he is a consummate professional. Let's go and pick up Sing Out Loud, Kenilworth, on the Saturday, 16th of November.
Yeah, there it is, and it's got the white cap coming out of trap 4. Hesitant slightly, but quickly into stride. It's no delay after that. There's a few of them putting on pace, I think Festive Girl showing very good speed. And so the horse we found, Sing Out Loud, showing speed as well. The winner's to the outside, and it's in Gaynor Rupert's Drockenstein stud in the blue. But this Dynasty, Sing Out Loud, has now got to the front, Jim.
Yeah, she's out of an APND mare, which is quite interesting because that's a wonderful nick. And here she is, she's just bowling along in front. And then she gets beaten for speed. That the winner, which was Queen of Quiet, the King's Barnes filly, has run 3 seconds. Absolutely cantered past her.
Yeah, that's right. And King's Barnes, sad loss.
And the other filly doesn't look like she looks like she's come under pressure here. She's still finding, but she just a bit flat-footed here. And then she gets the hang of it at the death. She looks like she might not even run a place. But then runs on well, and I think this was quite impressive. Anton now, the swisher, he gives it the swish with the right hand and a couple of taps.
Stays on.
She runs on really well. I think that she's a very nice filly. I like her action.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah. So there you are. There are a couple of horses that you should be having a very, very close look at. Well, been a fabulous racing week as far as what's going on worldwide.
Oh yeah.
You know, the Juveniles had their first start here. Juveniles been racing in Cape Town, in Australia, barrier trials. They've had the lot.
They've had them going.
They're going. Yeah.
Do you know, James? We were speaking earlier, and we're hoping to get a clip from the new venture of Gabby Somers.
Oh yes.
You know, we're going to put up a clip next week and all that, but it's very interesting. I had a chat with Gabby. Gabby has been working with Joe for years and years, and as you and I have said many times on the show, the humble hero wins these Group 1s, and they got the sales, and no one wants him. He can't buy a horse for 50 grand. It's a tragedy. It's happened to all of us. We go there and we're absolutely specking and guessing. And Gabby said it's time that he went into a new venture, which is Bloodstock, and it's very interesting that he's already put it on his sale, because you know these smaller sales help move horses. You know,
there's a very good market for horses in training sales, that type of thing, and I'm sure he'll be very successful, Gabby. And it really is worthwhile, and he can have a sale. They used to have sales like this
all over.
Quite often.
Mark Holmes started years ago. Do you remember, Jim? But you know, with Gabby is saying to me, he wants it nationwide, and even if the sales are sold in Joburg, where there seems to be a bit more money, he will sell horses in absentia with a video of them, maybe the last win or whatever. And if they're not there, their vet report, he's doing it properly, and he's doing it right, so that you can think, well, if I'm going to get a horse of the sale, I know the boxes have all been crossed and ticked.
I saw the advert in, I think it was in the computer form.
Yes,
or maybe
it was.
One of the computer forms.
Yesterday.
There was an advert for horses that you want to put on the sale, and you read the terms and conditions and see what they're going to do. And I think that they'll get support.
They'll definitely get support. Everyone gets to a stage where an owner says, well, this isn't doing too well. You know, maybe we should cut our losses, and the next one could be in 10 months' time or 8 months. Let's move it on. Maybe a weaker centre, and then you get the guys to buy, and it keeps the cycle going, James.
Exactly. Well, talking about sales, Keeneland had their big breeding stock sale the last week. 80% clearance rate, $200 million they turned around for 2,667 lots, average $75,000. Average.
Average,
yeah. 3.2 million take charge Brandy was she's in foal to justify, but she was bought out of a partnership.
Yes.
And the biggest price for a filly not in foal was for Blue Prize, who's bred by our friend Ignacio Pavlovsky in Argentina.
Yes. What did he get?
He got $5 million. He didn't own her. They sold her from Argentina as a Group 1 winner. They sold her to America. And the American interests obviously include, you know, the Argentinians. They're very good mates with them.
Yeah.
And when you think you go back in time and look at these guys that bred horses like Bayacoa and whatever, it's something that every single week we look on with frustration and think, we got horses that can fit in there. Anyway, Adrian Todd, just talking about it, phoned me and he said to me that he wants to have a chat to us and he wants to see if we can get something going. And he'll tell us all the latest, which he says is exciting, which is great.
It sounds promising. So
I'm going to see him in 2 weeks' time in Johannesburg when I go up for Mike's party. We're going to do an interview. What else did we have here? So that was Keeneland, 924 weanlings they sold for $57 million. They averaged $62,000.
62 for weanlings, and the main sale was 75.
Yeah.
Okay.
Their market is
buoyant.
very stable.
Yeah.
It's gone on a run and it's very stable at the moment. Just talking about trainers. Chad Brown, Linda Rice, Karen McLaughlin, Jimmy Jerkins, all in trouble in New York.
What did they do wrong?
Labor relations, they weren't paying their labor properly. And the New York federal government took them on. And Chumpy Brown, Chad, He's has to pay 1.6 million to 182 employees in back pay.
Wow, Jim, that's a lot of money.
And
But
he
can't they have seen this coming?
and he has to pay a fine of $526,000.
Oh,
okay.
gee.
So the interesting, I was reading what Linda Rice had to say about it. She was hammered as well. And she said, well, as has always been the norm with the horse industry, is that you pay a salary,
Yes.
okay?
Yeah.
And you work whatever hours you'd required to work. She says the whole industry is changing. You've got to pay an hourly rate. And she says she put in time clocks and whatever, and they pay an hourly rate. And that's happened here. We've seen exactly the same thing.
We're on top of it here. We've got labour laws here.
Yeah. Enable Horse of the Year, Cartier Horse of the Year.
Rightly so.
Yeah. We talked about...
Just talking about Cartier Horse of the Year, did Winks win it last year? I think Winks might have won it last year, so it'll be Philly. The Phillies are winning these awards, Jim.
Well, you know,
they're the best horses.
She deserved to get
horses,
it, you know. And when you looked at what race this year, she deserved it. She was so unlucky not to, you know, win the Arc again.
And soft ground.
She was the best horse. American Pharaoh, interesting. He's the leading first season sire.
Great start.
Great start he's had, and you know, was a sire in Japan of stakes winners. His best horse was Four Wheel Drive, which won the Breeders' Cup Turf for Wesley Ward. Now, interesting reading about what Wesley Ward had to say. He sent a whole lot of mares to American Pharaoh. Sent 5 mares of his own, Wesley Ward, because he said to Bob Baffert, who trained American Pharaoh, he said, what about the grass for this horse? And Bob Baffert said to him, the one thing I really regret doing was not running this horse on the grass. He said, I really believe he would have been as good or even better on the grass.
Yeah.
So you can send your mares. Now what's happened is that Wesley Ward won the turf, juvenile turf with four-wheel drive.
Yeah.
So it shows you that these guys, they talk to each other and they know what they're doing, you know.
Yeah.
What else? Beauty Generation was beaten. We're talking about Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Second time he's been beaten. He was the highest rated horse in the world last year.
2 defeats.
I'm not sure, you know, where they got that from, because he's been beaten twice and soundly beaten. And the sprint was won by Carice Teeton. So nice to see
look
him.
at that part of the world, Jim. We got a photograph of a man who used to be commentator there and present there. He's now in Sydney. Have a look at this photo, guys. Bring it up big screen if you can. There I'm interviewing.
Who's that skinny little Millie?
Who's that little guy with a chin beard?
Yeah, can only be...
It's exactly be Gareth
Pepper.
That's the one and only Gareth Pepper.
Yeah. Well, I want to rather put up a picture now, okay, that I don't think much more interesting than you and Gareth Pepper talking nonsense. It's the horse's markings on its face. Now, maybe when we get closer to this is absolutely brilliant. It's a silhouette of a woman. Okay?
It is.
Brilliant. I don't know if it's photoshopped or not, but I think that Dirty Minds is right. You know, I can see it straight away. So obviously,
straight away. You know,
I know I fit into.
I haven't got a dirty mind.
Fit into that category.
Yeah.
Okay. What else? Talking about drug tests. Belinda Stronach's daughter is a girl called Nicole Walker.
Okay.
She is in the Canadian
jumper.
Equestrian International team. Okay. And she failed a drugs test. Traces of cocaine. She swears she's never taken them, this and that and the other. Maybe she's kissing a guy who's got cocaine.
Well, very much doubt. You can't get drunk in that.
Anyway, the biggest problem is that if they get disqualified or she gets disqualified, the Canadian Olympic equestrian team do not qualify for the next Olympic Games.
Ooh, so it
because they needed her score to count to get through the qualification.
Wow.
So, an amazing, Belinda Stronach, as you know, is having these huge problems with her father, Frank, and Magna, and all the problems that they're having there. Yeah. So, I don't know what's going to happen with that little lot, but doesn't look good.
Okay, well, let's...
A couple of other things quickly. Okay. Magic Wand won the Group 1 in Australia.
Yeah. Okay,
she's now won her first Group 1, Magic Wand, she's Galileo. She ran 3 times in 16 days. Ran in the Cox Plate. She got beaten about 3 lengths. She ran in the Melbourne Cup. She got beaten, and then she came on the McKinnon, I think it was, a week later, and won that. So she was sold by Mayfair speculators and
That's right,
the Doyles and that at that sale for 1.4 million. So she's obviously a very good filly. I mean, the team bought her back and bought Mayfair speculators out of it. But that was before the big crunch came. It was about to happen. Obviously, they knew. Irish National Stud give 27 people scholarships to go and work there every year. One of them's a South African girl. Fantastic for her. Her name's Brittany Rhinon. And well done, Brittany. We wish you the best in your travels to the Irish National Stud. We're gonna, okay, can we move on and see what Louis Goosen's got to say? We had the 6-part interview. You must go on to the Winning Ways Show YouTube channel, and you can see them all. They talk about handicapping, vets fees, all types of things, training centers, trainers associations. And this is the final part of the 6-part series that we chatted to Louis Goosen. Very interesting man, and it's interesting to watch. Till next week, have a good one. Right, well, nothing excites me more than talking about them NHRA, because as you know, Louis, I have a particularly bad relationship with them, and I think that they are an organization that really don't do us many favors.
Yeah, James, I think sometimes let me use the starter as an example. The guy will start 5,000 races with 50,000 horses and not have one problem with it. Just that one day he makes a mistake and we all point our finger at the mistake and we forget about the 50,000 or 5,000 races that never had a mistake. So we must say that basically NHRA are doing the right work. It's just there's certain issues that one always has to look at, and you'll always have different opinions, and racing is about opinion anyway, because I think my horse is faster than yours, so that's an opinion. But, let's take an example, Zolpatrol. I've never heard of this stuff. But after this weekend of inquiring about what this is, we received emails to say Zolpatrol, this is used by cattle and stuff, totally confusing. I'll be honest with you. I can picture John Cleese. You know, he was out here in South Africa when they filmed Spud, John van der Riet's book. I can see Trevor Noah. I can see the comedy show we can do with racing. And it worries me that we become a comedy show. Because I must be told, I get an email with nobody's told me who's written this email. But I must be careful of Zolpatrol because they can pick it up. And we must warn our feed merchants. Of course, after the caffeine thing, I've absolutely hit the panic. I don't need any drama. Straight on to Mark, what's his name, who now represents us at the vet. I said, Mark, please get all of Eckler.
Mark Ditburner.
Yeah, Mark Ditburner. I said, please get all of EPOL, get all of these people, that little Zolpatrol, yeah. Got all of them. They said they've got nothing like that in their food. On the weekend, I inquire of one of the Jockey Club vets, or the chief vet with Dr. Ruan, and I'll ask him. He says to me, no, but if they fed it to cattle, and that cattle manure gets used as fertilizer for your teff, and your horse eats your teff, we'll pick up Zolpatrol. Now, Inspector Clouseau springs to mind. Monsieur, it's not my dog. Does your dog bite? No, Monsieur, my dog does not bite. And when you touch a dog, it bites, it's not my dog. I promise you, I am now seeing trainers with binoculars, telescopes, magnifying glasses, crawling through the fields where they're going to get their teff from. And I can see trainers going out on safari to go and try and find what fertilizer was used in the teff in case my horse eats this, it might have Zolpatrol in it. I'm telling you now, we can do a comedy series on this. Now, are we injecting it? I don't know that there's an injectable. I've never seen the stuff in my life. But I'm being told that the levels aren't determined yet, but there'll be low levels for if it's in the feed, but the higher level will mean you injected it. Where are we going, James?
Okay, listen, I'm an expert on this, okay? So I don't want to give you my views, I want your views. The simple basis of the whole thing is that the Jockey Club, or the NHRA, is there to control racing, okay? And to make sure there's run on a level playing fields, and to make sure that the horses aren't harmed, and because they're not harmed, no harm comes to anyone else in the industry, and they have a set of rules and regulations. It seems incongruous to me that they can send out a warning that this is going on, instead of rather saying, we have found a number of cases in our laboratory where we have found this drug, okay? We, the Jockey Club, the NHRA, will get to the bottom of it and we will keep you informed. Instead, what they do is they send out a thing saying, check your food and make sure that you're not using this. This is nonsense. And that is the whole point, okay, is how things are done. Okay. Are they done correctly? That's my question to you.
No, they're not. I think a letter like that, for me, is a little bit embarrassing. You see, there are many people out there who don't want to see the good in racing. They don't know how much we love our horses, this is our passion, this is our life. The horse is so special to us. We're never going to be cruel to a horse. Those type of people we get rid of in the game, and everybody will band together against someone like that. That doesn't exist. And there's so many people who want to see racing fail, and they're looking for a cause and so on. We're giving them a cause with stuff like this. We don't even know what this little patrol is. That's exactly what you say. If the research and the homework was done properly, as the ruling authority should have done, and came to us and said, guys, this is where it can be found. This is the level that if you ate it from grass, if it comes from your teff or whatever, but anything above that level, you've injected it, we're going to nail you. Now we sorted out the bad people that could be there. We've got a balance, and we know where we stand. Remember that any positive that you see, there are people out there who view it as dope.
Of course they do. Yeah.
In the old days, we used to walk around, James, you did it too. You spoke about the cold winters at Vaal and at Newmarket earlier. You walk around with that little thing of Vicks in your pocket. And then also got a little bit of a runny nose. It's not snotty, but it's just a little bit of a run. It's winter, it's in the evening, you walk past, you just touch a little bit of Vicks and you touch it on the horse's nose. Just clears its passages, it's not dope. Today you'd have a positive for that Vicks.
Exactly. You know why? Because they can find a teaspoon of sugar in a swimming pool or whatever it is. Yeah. That is how, the trouble is, okay, and I know this firsthand, is that there are no set rules and regulations. They are the authority. But you should know how much of this you can give and how much of this is going to affect the horse's performance and how much of this you can't give, okay? Now, the problem is that there have been, over the past 4 or 5 years, many positives called and nothing's been done about them. Okay? I know that there were a number of caffeine positives called. I was the one who took the brunt of it. And nothing was done about them. There were a number of cobalt positives called. Now the Zolpatrol, what's the story with it? Have they found it? Has it been at a level where it's going to affect the horse's performance? Because remember, you've just had this thing with Justify with scolopolamine, okay, which the horse was positive for before the Kentucky Derby, in the Santa Anita Derby. Nothing was done about it because the American authorities said it didn't affect the horse's performance. There will be people out there who say it did affect the horse's performance, but it didn't come up positive and it won a Triple Crown. Do you stick to the rules or don't you stick to the rules? That's my question to you. And are the rules strong enough?
I say that's where the National Trainers Association comes in again. I think you must stick to the rules, but I think you've got to get a strong body to address those rules and have them amended, not to suit us, but to be more user-friendly.
A few things come out of the NHRA recently. Fraud against the past chief executive. Anything been done about it?
No idea. Look, I can't, you mentioned caffeine. I'm one of those trainers, a 17 trainer, so I can't talk about that. It's still ongoing. By the way, it hasn't been thrown away.
Okay, well, I didn't know you were, but I wanted to talk to you. I wanted to get your feeling. That's not good, okay? But the point is that nothing was done, okay, at the end of the day.
It's ongoing.
Ongoing, okay, that's great. I'm looking forward to seeing, because let me tell you, they can't get one case to sink. It was contamination. We proved that beyond doubt. Anyway, that doesn't matter. The point being, talking about the NHRA as a governing body, okay, have you got confidence in them as a body that can control and govern racing effectively and without reproach. That's the big thing. And that's why I mentioned the fraud case. Okay? Because I don't know if it's ongoing or not ongoing.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, because then I go back to, like I use the example I used at the beginning when I spoke about the starter can start 50,000 horses and 5,000 races, makes one mistake, when you remember the mistake. Yes, NHRA are effectively governing racing. We can't say they're not. It's not out of control. It's not, but there's avenues that need to be addressed, and a little bit of an attitude change and a little bit of a mind swing, change the mindset a bit. I think it needs more tweaking than what it needs now. We've got no vote of no confidence.
Okay.
But I think you've got to address each department as an individual. Each department's got flaws, and I think you've got to address the flaws.
I'm going to finish with this question. Are there fees for the registrations at the NHRA out of kilter, or are they fair?
James, they're very high. The fees are very high. But now, where do we see the books? Are they wasting money? Or is that really what it costs to run? If it really is what it costs, that's what the cost is to run the NHRA, then we've got to pay those fees. Then they are not too high. I know that Gold Circle pay in, I know that Pumalala pay in, and they also collect their own fees. And some will say certain massive fines were better for them than to warn somebody off with a dope positive and all that. I don't know the financial side, but it is very expensive. It's a lot of money I've got to pay for my assistants, myself at the end of the year.
Should we know about them? We're all members.
Know about?
The fees and the expenses. I know they'll say that they produce balance sheets and books for every AGM, but actually, do they tell the story? I'm
not a financial man.
Thank goodness for that. Louis, it's been fantastic having you on the show, and insight of information, unbelievable. We wish you the best with Wonder Water. I'm sure that it will do well, but we wish you more success with your trading business, because we know that's what you love. You only do this because you want to make money.
Yeah, well, we're not making money. We're paying in with the water, but I'm worried now I might have to do the water after a couple of things I've said here, James. I might not be allowed to train horses next month.
You know, that's what life's all about. You've got to be able to say what you think, and Louis Hurston is one of those men. He stands up and he's counted. He's the first one to be counted. And he'll tell you if your horse is no good or if it's good. He won't give you a story. He's a guy we like listening to. Thank you for joining us, and we hope it's been informative.
Thanks very much.